Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, my people. My beautiful people of the world. You know, I came on yesterday singing like that, too. I just can't help it. Every time I come on, I just want to sing to you, the people, because I just love you guys out there. And it's so beautiful to be here with you, as I am most days of the week. And it's beautiful when you're here with me and we're together. And it's a wonderful thing here on Operation Status Quo. So hello and welcome. I am Pete Palma. And this, of course, is Operation Status Quo, where we learn to, well, we don't learn to, but we observe the status quo of life. And then we learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo. Because that's the only way to go. We have to always remember that we have to, you know, when I say, sometimes I feel like when I talk about this and I say, learn to flow with the quo, I never want it to sound like we're giving up in any type of way or just conceding and doing what the mainstream, agenda tells us to do. We learn to flow with the quo because, fighting against everything all the time is just quite honestly exhausting, is it not? I mean, do we really want to go through that effort day in and day out, trying to, fight over every last little detail and such that goes on? So I think the best way to get through life in general, even if the world wasn't as crazy as it is right now and everything that's going on, even under what we may have considered normal circumstances in the past, it's always better to just, kind of go with the flow. You know what's going on, and then you just work your way around. That's why I say we create our own flow of quo, because, we work with what's going on, and then we work our way around and create the life that we want to live within the confines, I guess, of what life has to offer. But the truth is, because I always talk on a higher level of things as far as consciousness and whatnot. And, I really believe that what we see in our day-to-day lives, pardon me, in the outside world is merely just a reflection of what's within each of us, right? So what you're seeing in your day-to-day life is really what's going on inside of you, and you're always going to attract those levels of energy into your life, depending on what you're thinking and how you're vibrating. So a great I don't want to say a great idea, but I was going to say one of the reasons for this space that I create is just to kind of like always keep that in the forefront and have a reminder, because I know the world gets a little hectic and people get really depressed and upset and worried about things that are going on, and not sure how things are going to turn out, and truthfully it all comes down to what you got going on inside, because what you pay attention to and give energy to each and every day in your life is what is going to be going on in your life. I mean, I guess there's probably extenuating circumstances. I guess, like, again, if they set off a bunch of nuclear bombs, I guess probably we'd have to be it might change your day a little bit. But I don't know. In general, like, and I say this all the time, because this is a space of love and togetherness and joy, and and trying to give people positive ways of looking at things in the world and all that type of thing. And I just say, even for everything that's been going on all this time, for myself personally, because I choose not to go down that road of being all wound up about all this nonsense that they're spewing all the time. And I find that my day to day is generally pretty positive. Like, I don't really have negative complaints or thinking that things are, dire, or, oh my gosh, there's the one channel I watch. He's cool. The Canadian Prepper. You can look him up on YouTube. I enjoy his work. He does really great stuff on. I mean, if you're into the prepping thing and want to buy like the freeze dried foods, or whatever the frig they sell, the weapons and the gas masks and everything else. He's good with that stuff, and he also gives a lot of information on the conflict in Russia, as it were. So it's pretty neat information. But he's always talking about, basically, you better be prepared. It's doom and gloom. Here comes the nukes are coming off. The food supplies are cut off. Gas prices are going up. And it's like, bah, 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 bah. And, maybe some of that stuff will happen. I'm always a believer, ultimately, that nothing will ever... I mean, bad things happen, right? And I'm just saying, well, what we consider bad things, but events occur, I should put it that way, that kind of, change our trajectory in life at times, individually as well as a whole, right? So, but I never think that anything is like cataclysmic in such a way that, everything is wiped out and, humanity's like, just like, who's living in bunkers and, you got to walk around with 30 guns. And I just don't think it would get to that way, just because I don't think it's in the purpose of us as a species, as embodied, entities to be here on Earth and what we're supposed to learn and the purpose of our existence. I don't feel that is, really conducive or supportive to the ultimate goal that we're trying to get to, which is a higher level of consciousness and a way of encouraging everyone to not only have abundance but be abundant and share their abundance, share their skills, their talents, their knowledge, all that type of stuff there, so that it's for the betterment of the entire community and humanity as a whole. But anyway, I don't know. I'm off on a whole long tangent here, but I just really I always just wanted to start off by encouraging everyone, as I always like to encourage everyone, to stay positive and not get too crazy, because today we're going to talk about the mainstream media a little bit. And, that's a facet of conversation that could make anyone get upset. So, but a lot of, obviously what I say here is not about, I always say this, it's not about right or wrong, good or bad. It's really just about perception. It's about, just kind of looking at things from a distance a bit, reminding yourself two things. One, not to get attached to anything, whether it's something that you love or dislike, whatever the case may be, but not to get overly attached that it's the be-all, end-all of what should be or what brings, happiness or what brings sadness. It's, it's really just an event to help you learn and grow. So you take it for what it is and utilize it in that way. So not attach. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Don't attach. And, and I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, man, that's the way I go all the time. But you don't want to attach and you want to keep space. It really is about, keeping space and remembering that this life is the dream and, and all that. So anyway, so today's episode, well, first of all, today is the 25th of July in the good year 2023. Hello and welcome once again to Operation Status Quo. Nice to have you here with me today. If you haven't done so already, and if it feels right with you, I would be more than happy for you to click that like button, that subscribe button, maybe share this out, with some of your friends, your family, and let's spread the word of joy and cheer. And don't forget that you're absolutely welcome here at any time. So if you're something you would like to contribute, something you'd like for me to discuss, whatever, my contact information is in the description box below. So, feel free to reach out and touch someone, reach out and touch me and let me know what you'd like to talk about or have me talk about. And we can do that for you here on Operation Status Quo, because that's what we do. All right, today's program is entitled Media Ping Pong, because first of all, this is almost taking it down a level in a way, because first and foremost, I always say, all that's outside noise is merely that, it's outside noise and distractions and such. So I'm not big on the news, but I do a little bit of news each day, because I just want to see what they're saying, and I want to see what the basic general population is soaking in and believing. And but I find it really funny. Because when you flip around to the different stations, it's so interesting how like the big story on one station is different than the big story on a different station. I know this isn't brain surgery, you realize this, but well, hopefully you do. I guess it depends. If you just watch one media outlet all the time, then I guess you're just always being fed that line of propaganda instead of the other lines of propaganda. First and foremost, we have to start with the basis of understanding that everything we're told in the news generally is not fact. Okay, it's a story. It's a line of direction to get people to think about different things, and they just kind of tilt it towards the audience that they're trying to reach, just like any other product they would sell, right? If you're trying to sell a movie, if you're trying to sell, if it's a commercial, it's all the same thing. It's just a product to sell, because that's what really gets me agitated the most about all the news outlets, is that the truth is there's no news. When I watch what they say, they never talk about anything that's really going on or these deeper issues. It's always this surface level nonsense. A good example, it started with me with the the Hunter cocaine thing, because they went through that whole, process, and and they couldn't determine where the cocaine came from in the White House, and I was just thinking, and of course they never even mention anything. That's on Fox, right? Big on Fox, the cocaine thing, and then on CNN, like they're not even talking about it. When they were talking about that with the cocaine, if you flip over to CNN, they're just talking about Ukraine and their plight and everything like that, right? And then it was some days later, I watched again, and I flip on, and they're going off. Fox was going off about, Biden not being competent, and the concessions being made to help him through, because he's elderly or whatever, that he's wearing sneakers. And that was like the big thing. Like they're doing this whole thing about, Biden wearing sneakers, and he's not competent enough to, be in the White House. Now, let me just say this as an aside, because I like asides, and I do that a lot. Aside from the political stuff, like, I'm not a Biden fan by any stretch of the imagination. Although, how could you dislike a clone? Because we do know that it's not the real Joe Biden we're looking at. It's either, a clone or a robot or some sort of AI or somebody with a mask or whatever the case may be. But it's not him, right? So, but it's still, I would say, like, go ahead and wear sneakers, right? If you're comfortable. I think we should stop. We should do away with shirts and ties and suits altogether, and everybody should just kind of wear gym clothes and hang out and be comfortable, personally. So I don't think it's a big deal that the guy's wearing sneakers, but I like how they make a big deal out of it, that he's so unfit to be president that he has to wear sneakers for his, the comfort of his feet, so he doesn't trip and fall or whatever. And but at the same time they were talking about that, I flip over to CNN, and they're just going on about new indictments, for Trump. It's Trump, and how are we going to stop this, this criminal who's treated the country the way he's done, and blah 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 blah. And I don't know, I just thought it was really funny, because like, what is news? Like, this is the question I pose to you out there, and please feel free to drop some comments in the comments and let me know your thoughts and feelings and opinions. But what is news? There doesn't even exist, really. It's not even like there is no news. It's just like stories that they create for the whatever side of the agenda. And we have to remember, of course, that either side, whether it's the left, the right, Fox, CNN, they're really part of the same machine, right? And they're just catering to their particular audiences, right? Fox is going to talk about all kinds of conservative stuff, the border, and the energy prices, and inflation, and and you're going to go over to CNN, and they're going to talk about Trump is like the most vile person in the world, and we have to save Ukraine. It's a threat to democracy. Even with especially back with COVID, they would come on about being, well, I think both of them kind of came on about being good citizens and getting your jab. They both were kind of for the jab. I have to say that, right? Because that's a big one. They really want people to get jabbed up so they can be poisoned. The mask was a little more, the right side would not, go down that road as much as the left side would. But at the end of it all, right? At the end of it all, they're really like those guys. They first of all, they're probably like all in the same space, really. Like the same building. They do one show here, one show there. They probably come back into the lounge and they give each other high fives. Oh, what did you tell people? Oh, we told people, Trump's going to go away for life, and we got to do something because he's like the most evil president we've ever had in the country. And what did you tell your people? Oh, we were just ripping on Biden about his sneakers, So it's really funny to me because unfortunately, neither side is giving real information. Like why don't they come out like? And that's the thing too, right? What's the big story of the day? You go to 6 o'clock, and the big story of the day on one channel is this, and the big story on the day of the other on another channel is something different. So like, is there really a big story? What's really going on, or is this just what you want to talk about, or is this just what has been made up for the day? I mean, I'm not sure how much you guys realize out there, but all the media companies are owned by a small group of people, and basically the news that is going to be disseminated that day is decided the day before, and they have their agendas and their storylines. I mean, COVID's the best example of all, right? they kept coming out with the new normal, and every day with the numbers of who's been infected, and I mean, like, it would talk about a media campaign to that's not really telling you any truth, but just instilling fear, right? So that's the kind of stuff that they do on both sides, and they really keep you distracted and keep everybody fighting against each other. I mean, not for anything. If we go through the country here, we're in the United States. If you're in another country, let me give you a round of applause for whatever country you're in. Where are you? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. Tell me in the comments what country you're from. I want to know where my audience is out there. Where are my Austrian people? Had a big Austrian audience back in the day. Hey-o. I know you guys are still out there. Come on, Gabby, Marlon. Where are Marlene? I'm sorry. It's Marlene, like Penn. I didn't forget. Where are you guys? But seriously, yeah, and they just kind of, decide what they want to talk about and what they want people to be spinning their wheels on. Like, even when the Titan thing went down, it was like a big deal, and they make that a story, and it's like a distraction for other things that are going on, whether it be with the economy or what's really going on over with Russia and Ukraine, and all these things. It's just I find it so fascinating because people are so into the news. Like even like my family, I've mentioned this before. My mother sometimes will be like, "Oh, I saw this on Fox, and did you see that on Fox?" And I'm like, "How many times I got to tell you? Stop watching Fox and believe in Fox." Because if these people were honest and true too, the first thing they'd be coming out and be talking about is like the human trafficking and, the child sex trafficking and all the connections between Epstein and J.P. Morgan and, the banks. And everything's all tied into this like bigger story that's going on that no one ever talks about, right? Because it's just conspiracy and insanity. And then, they laugh about other stuff. Like, I talked about this before one time, because Fox was making jokes about some of the alien sightings and stuff. And they were talking about that again. I don't know if it was yesterday or the end of last week. And they started making jokes. Oh, do you believe in little green men? Do you believe in little green men? And it's just, it's very patronizing, I find, to the audience. It's like they right away make it like, they put this, they instill, it's again, how everything's so subconscious, right? They instill this little idea into your mind that like, just by saying things in that way, like, oh, obviously these are educated people, giving you the news and, and if they're, making fun of little green men, it's like, oh, kind of just subconsciously instills into people that are watching, right? Well, obviously we can't believe in this or, and I'm not saying what's true, what's not true. I'm a believer, again, I've talked about aliens before, that there's really just one entity, in a sense. It's like there's no such thing as time. So when you think of it in this capacity, it's easy to see that the aliens, if you want to call them aliens, are really ourselves, in future timelines, advanced humans, basically. And also, I believe in the multi-dimensional thing, so, we could have entities that are, perceiving in 5-7 dimensions that are going to have a different, capacity in the physical world than our 3-dimensional perception does. But either way, at the end of the day, and the most important thing to remember, and this goes back to everything I'm talking about right now, even with the media, and I'm talking all about the media because it's just like insanity of like all the nonsense that they spew on both sides. The truth is, like, we are all just one entity. We're all one energy. We're one humanity, and everything they do is designed. I mean, I can't get over how orchestrated and designed it all is. To keep people as far away as possible from the realization of the truth of our inner power and who we are and our connection to Source. It's really, it's amazing to me. And that's why, when I was saying in the beginning, like, the world might seem like it's going crazy and all that type of stuff. And like I say, oh, my day is generally pretty good. Like, I don't really get all wrapped up in that. I don't worry about it. I really don't, because I really, really believe, in what I'm saying as far as the oneness, and that, this world is really just a playground. So, and it's just a space for us to learn and grow, however that may be for each individual. So I don't know, I don't take it seriously. Like, if we all got wiped out by a tidal wave, yeah, it might be scary for the, couple seconds until everything is destroyed or whatever. But afterwards, I mean, there's nothing lost, right? We transition back to what what we were before we were here, and we just see from that perspective, we would understand why whatever happened to bring us back so quickly. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. So I don't know. That's basically it today. I'm all kind of all over the place a little bit, but I just feel the media is just, it's just an out of control thing that I look forward to, it being exposed for the propaganda machine that it is. Like, is it, there's nothing wrong with like honest, fair, accurate journalism, right? That comes from an unbiased space of not judging, but putting forth facts through actual research. Not like they just decide to come on and say whatever. It's like there is no news, right? It's just people spouting opinions like on either side, and especially on because I do obviously lean more towards if I was going to watch one, I would watch Fox, right, more so than I would watch CNN. But they're both lying, and the way they go on CNN. I mean, the stuff they talk about with Trump all the time. I mean, I just can't even get over it. I can't believe how people believe it so much and are so and like to think that a person could be hated this much and attacked this much. I mean, what has he really done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't done anything different than any other politician's been doing for years and years. And again, I've said this before. I think that's exactly why he's being charged with all this stuff, because it's bringing to light all these things that basically have been going on all the time. I feel he's, it's orchestrated. It's done on purpose. For this information to be exposed to the public to help wake people up, because we have to break free of this darn paradigm that we're trapped in before we can move forward and have freedom. Are people afraid of freedom? I mean, that's a question too. I should maybe do a show about that. Are people like afraid of freedom? Would they rather just be like little slaves of this system because it's easier and they're used to their Social Security check or something? I really, I don't know. So, but all I do know, and that's why I entitled the show Media Ping Pong, because if the media really cared and was really trying to help people and really trying to inform people, it would come together, right? And give real information instead of like being so divisive. And, they say one thing on one side, the opposite on the other side. One thing on one side, opposite on the other side. And the truth is, like, you could sit there, whatever side you're on, you could sit there and say, here, I got these facts, blah, 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 and this, and that. And then the other person go, oh, yeah, well, I got these facts, this, and that. So you're never going to convince anyone that, and I think that's important not to. Like, I don't think we shouldn't try to convince anyone to think something on the other way. I mean, you can offer, here's some information. You can, see how it resonates with you, research it, see if it makes you look at things from a different perspective. But just trying to say that this opinion's right and trying to put it on someone else to believe, it's never going to work, because it's just human nature. People are going to get their back up. It's good. They're going to, no one wants to feel like they were wrong or, any of that type of thing. So I don't know. I mean, that's basically it here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. Just to be mindful of the media. I mean, it's a crazy dynamic of really, I mean, I can't even put it into words, because I'm so into other aspects. I got most of my, what I consider more relevant news and more realistic news, online from different YouTube channels and stuff like that, Rumble, wherever I go, but different capacities, not your normal what's on TV every day, because that, that's just, I mean, total, you're not going to get anything if you're looking in that space to find anything what's going on. But when I watch the other stuff and hear what they talk about and what's coming down the pike with different things, and I'm like, they don't even talk about, like, it's not even a blip on the radar. They don't talk about it at all. One story just leads into the next. The China spy balloon was a big deal, and China's spying on us, and then what? I mean, like, nothing's ever come from that. They collected some parts, and they don't even talk about it anymore. Like, so all of a sudden there's no more balloons. There was just one stray balloon happened to float across the country, and now everything's secure. There's no more balloons. It's just they do this like all the time. Like, then you see these little stories that keep popping up, like out in LA, and I think out in that area, Nevada. I'm not even sure 100%, but over there they keep spotting these UFOs and aliens, and like, if people people are really spotting this stuff. Like, isn't this like a big story? They got a picture of a UFO and or something, and they say, citizens reported seeing UFO. Isn't that like a bigger story? Like, to really talk about, like, wait a minute, let's really see what the hell's going on, instead of just a little, they said they saw a UFO in LA. Do you believe in little green men? Ha 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 ha. It's just like, it makes no sense. It's like, why even put the story out there then, right? So, yeah, we're not getting anything from mainstream media, that's for sure. So, keep your eyes open, and most importantly, keep your heart open. That's really the important part. That's why we're here together on Operation Status Quo, to remind people to, just find your heart center space. That's really where the truth lies, and you just vibrate from that space, and you follow your, have your good intentions, and you follow, your heart and what the universe has planned for you in a way, and if you stick with all that, you don't need to watch Fox or CNN or MSNBC or whatever, any of these outlets that are basically filling your head with, propaganda and nonsense, even Newsmax and all of them. Nobody comes on and says anything real, right? It's just all like the fluff of the day and get their ratings. And what are they doing? Like, if they really cared about these serious issues that are going on, and blah blah blah, why not do something about it then? Let's say, listen, we're exposing this. This is going on. Just like when they did the thing with they had those guys, the whistleblowers, talking, for Congress or whatever, and they were being, they were being interviewed, right? And like, it turned into this whole thing of, like, these guys are talking about whatever, Hunter Biden's taxes and the money being illegal, and it turned into a whole dissertation on racism. Like, I don't even understand, where did racism come from? We're talking about Hunter Biden and his, like, crimes. Like, how did this become part of it? Because they're calling it a two-tier justice system, and then they got to get up and say, oh, you want to talk about a two-tier justice system? We'll talk about a two-tier justice system. Everything is racist. And I'm like, those two guys were sitting there just like probably looking at each other like, what the hell are these guys talking about? Like, I thought we were here to talk about Hunter Biden and all the money being funneled to Ukraine and China, and all this other crap going on. How did we get on the topic of racism? But hey, leave it to America, baby. Everything's racist, no matter what. As soon as something happens, it's racism. Whoa, wait a minute. These people are upset. Let's say it's racism. Hey-o. These people have valid information to share. Let's say it's racism. So, but anyway, don't believe the media. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. So stay centered and, keep on trucking, because that's what we're doing. Trucking. Trucking. Grateful Dead, right? I don't remember any other words right now except for trucking. Gosh almighty, what are we doing here? I love you people out there. I really do. So anyway, I hope you appreciate what we're talking about here today. Please leave your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course those you despise as well. That's what we're here to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to create a positive space for you, the people out there, to know that it's always a safe space here. We're always going to look at things from a different perspective. We're not going to ever funnel in, down one little tube of thought or whatever. We're going to always be open and see everything. And, we're going to have our opinions. Everybody has their opinions and things they resonate with and whatever. But at the end of it, we know that it's all kind of like a show, and it's all just part of the game of this life. And we don't take it seriously, and we just flow with it. And then we create our own flow. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. All right. So I want to thank you for your time here today, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a beautiful pleasure to have you with me, and for me to be here with you, more importantly. So as I said before, I love you. I really, really do. I wouldn't just say that to anybody, and I'm saying it to you. I love you. As a fellow human, I love you. All right, anyway, that's it. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Operation Status Quo disengaged.